BlackBerry is the story of the making of, rise, and fall of the infamous phone that ruled the mid-2000s, the BlackBerry. It tells the story of essentially two men, Mike Lazaridis, the engineering genius who came up with the idea of the BlackBerry, and Jim Balsley, the business shark that got the product in some of the most important rooms in the business space. I had heard amazing stuff about this movie since its limited release started, but I gotta say, I was genuinely blown away by this one. This movie is shot like The Big Short or Succession, where the camera guy feels like the other guy in the room. It's extremely visceral, sharp camera turns, zoom ins, close-ups. It feels like you're in there, and it can get pretty intense at times. It sort of reminded me of Uncut Gems, the way that this movie just kind of made me feel on edge at times. Because this movie really does move at a rapid pace. I could not believe that by the time the credits were rolling, it had been 2 hours. This is absolutely the best performances of Glenn Howerton and Jay Baruchel's careers. Howerton is so intense, his mood can change on a dime. He owns every single second that he is on screen. And if that name rings a bell to you, he's one of the guys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I can actually see how elements of his role on that show, Dennis, bled into this character. That way that he can just change moods on a dime. He's yelling 1 second, he's being calm another second. He absolutely slaughtered this role. He was amazing. And then Baruchel was the perfect choice, playing a guy who kind of starts the movie as one thing, being sort of the shy engineering guy. He's not really a business shark that much. He can't really get in the room and make the pitch. He knows how to make the product, but he can't really pitch it. But then he ends the movie as like a completely different guy, completely jaded from, a decade worth of business dealings at this point, becoming an entirely different dude willing to sacrifice some of his biggest morals. Jay Baruchel just felt like a very natural choice for this role, and he pulled it off very well with his performance. But you know what, really, you guys? Matt Johnson is the real MVP of this movie. The director, the co-writer, and one of the co-stars. Unbelievable job by him. This guy has a serious future in this industry, y'all, because it's hard enough doing one of those three things right, but he managed to do all three at an expert level. Especially with the writing, this movie has such a good script. This movie is basically written in 3 acts. One is the early days of BlackBerry with Mike and Jim coming together, the initial pitch, all that good stuff. The next one is sort of the peak of BlackBerry, where there wasn't a businessman in the world that didn't have one of them in their hands. And then the third act, which is kind of like the announcement of the iPhone / the decline of the BlackBerry. We all kind of know that story. It's extremely gripping, and you want to root for these guys initially, while also acknowledging the imperfect decisions they make out of desperation during their downfall. You can see where they went wrong, but you still keep that kind of sympathy for them. Aside from maybe Glenn Howerton's character, that guy is an absolute shark. But even though with his character, the script is extremely fair in showing that yeah, the guy's a business shark. He'll slit your throat, but he played an instrumental role in making this the company that it did. These guys absolutely needed him to be successful at the level that they were. So even then, whenever you see the decline or the fall of these guys, you still acknowledge that he wasn't just, along for the ride. He had a role to play in this. It's so impressive too how well the script balanced sort of the cool engineering element talk of this movie as well as the business dealings. It's 2 different worlds colliding. Seeing how they butt heads with one another. One side values another thing, the other side values another. How do they come together to make a product? And while Mike and Jim were completely different dudes whenever this all got started, both were instrumental to the growth of the company. This movie is extremely well written, well shot, excellently acted, all around just an amazing movie. It's a limited release right now, so it's not going to be available in every theater in the country, but if it is playing in your area, go see it. I promise you won't be sorry. This is my favorite movie of the year right now. Before I was toggling whether it was Air or Guardians 3, but after seeing this, nope, it's BlackBerry. BlackBerry is my favorite movie of the year so far. Go to the movies, stay off your phone in the movie theater. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe for more if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.